Ever had that mini heart attack moment? You know, when you realize you've left your trusty USB drive at home?
Oh,
Back in the day, practically a rite of passage, especially if you were like transporting files between computers and stuff.
totally. Total panic.
Ugh, the worst. That feeling, that's part of what fueled Dropbox's billion-dollar success. So today we're doing a deep dive using this article, Text Calais.
Okay.
We're going to uncover the strategies behind Dropbox's rise to the top.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they tapped into something so relatable, that feeling of, ugh, I need that file right now. I remember that scramble, right? The early days of huge email attachments, messing with FTPs. Dropbox is like, hold on, there's a better way.
It's 2007. Picture Drew Houston, MIT student, running on caffeine and probably like ramen noodles, and bam, he forgets his USB drive.
Classic.
Again. But that's the light bulb moment. He wasn't the only one, right? That's the genius, a problem everyone had.
Absolutely. This wasn't like groundbreaking tech at first glance. It was about fixing a real everyday problem. Drew Houston and his co-founder, Arash Ferdowsi, they saw that gap and went for it.
Yeah. We're mostly going to focus on Houston, the face of Dropbox, but success is rarely a solo act.
100%. There's always a team behind the scenes.
Right.
But having someone recognizable, a Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, that helps with the image, the story people latch onto.
So problem identified, solution on the way. That's Act 1. But a good idea is just the start.
This is where it gets good. Dropbox's story isn't just about the idea. It's the execution. How they went from dorm room to global player. That's what we're looking at.
Okay, so let's get into it. The article breaks down 4 key strategies.
Yeah.
Solving a problem, we touched on that.
Right.
But also simplicity, viral growth, and continuous innovation. Think of this like a masterclass in building a tech empire, but distilled into bite-sized takeaways.
Yeah.
Ready to break it down.
Let's do it.
So first up, simplicity. Dropbox was so easy to use right from the get-go.
Yeah.
You didn't need like an engineering degree to figure it out, not like some of their competitors,
And that's key. People want things to be easy, especially with tech getting more, complex.
Right.
Dropbox nailed that from the start. Huge advantage for them.
Okay, so simple to use, check. But how'd they go from like a dorm room project to, well, Dropbox? Viral growth is next. Their referral program. Genius. Pure
Just
genius.
textbook case of word-of-mouth marketing.
Right.
Give people something tangible. In this case, more storage for bringing their friends on board.
Smart.
This works,
Like
We love
what?
sharing stuff we like. They tapped into that. It's like they built like an army of fans, just like that.
Exactly. So you've got this great product. People love it. They're telling their friends. You'd think they'd just, I don't know, relax, right? But no, they kept going, which brings us to continuous innovation.
This separates the good from the great, right? Good companies, they solve a problem. Great companies, they're already thinking ahead, anticipating what users need, before the users even know it.
And for Dropbox, this wasn't just about like adding random features. They had a strategy. The article talks about their focus on collaboration and integration with like other tools. They were listening to what people wanted and, adapting.
Exactly. That's the thing. To stay ahead, you got to be innovating constantly.
Yeah.
Like what's next? What's next?
So far, this has been, well, pretty much all positive, Dropbox, like this unstoppable force. But even giants, they, stumble sometimes. And that's what we're going to get into now, some of the mistakes they made.
It's funny. Sometimes learning from those mistakes, way more valuable than just looking at successes.
Right.
It's like, yeah, okay, something went wrong, but why? Then you can avoid it yourself.
Exactly. And first up, underestimating the competition. Big players, right? Google, Microsoft, they had their own versions of cloud storage. Google Drive, OneDrive, and they were catching up fast.
Easy trap to fall into, even for the best. You have some early wins. You start to think, hey, we're untouchable, but things change constantly. You got to stay alert. Always.
It's like you learn by doing, right? You fall, you get back up. Even Dropbox had a few stumbles along the way.
Yeah, for sure. And in this article, it points out their over-reliance on that freemium model. Like, that was a big one.
Which seems smart at first. Give a little away for free. Get people hooked.
Right. Classic double-edged sword, though. Freemium. Amazing for getting those first users, building some buzz. But in Dropbox kind of tripped here, turning those free users into paying customers, that's the real challenge.
Because if the free version is already working for you, why pay?
Exactly. It's a balancing act, right? Too generous, and nobody upgrades. Too limited. You frustrate people, they go run into the competition.
Which, speaking of competition, that brings us to the last mistake from the article failing to differentiate.
The cloud storage world, it got crowded. Dropbox had to figure out, how do we show people our cloud is different? Is it actually better? You got to get
Hmm.
people to see your unique value.
Which isn't that like a constant struggle nowadays? How many apps are out there that all kind of do the same thing?
It's the name of the game now. Being good isn't enough anymore. You got to keep moving, keep innovating, stand out, and then make sure people know what makes you special.
So even Dropbox, this massive success, they hit a few bumps. Kind of reassuring in a way, don't you think? Shows they're human.
100%. Even the big guys mess up sometimes. What matters is, can they learn from it, adapt, come back even stronger?
Right, right. Okay, so we've covered a lot. From a forgotten USB drive to like strategic wins
Mhm.
to those crucial learning moments.
It all comes back to those four takeaways. Solving a real problem, keeping it simple, that viral growth, and like constantly innovating. Never stop.
As we wrap up, one last thing to think about. What problem are you uniquely positioned to solve? Dropbox is a good reminder sometimes. It's those simple ideas, the ones that fill a need, they're the game changers.
Exactly. And who knows, your billion-dollar idea might be right around the corner.
And that wraps up our Dropbox deep dive. Hope you found it useful, maybe get you thinking a little bit. Every tech giant, they all started somewhere. So, keep those ideas coming.